And welcome back, everybody, to a very special episode of the TV show. I'll tell you why in just a second. I'm Jay Black, joined as always by Rhea Hughes and Angelo Cataldi. How you guys doing?
Hey, guys.
The look of glee on Angelo's face. Angelo, were you a guy that liked to do your homework in school? Were you like,
Yes.
You'd show up?
Incredible nerd, and I'm going to kick some ass in the Apple Plus draft later in the show. I promise you that.
Yes, we'll get to that in just a moment. We'll talk about it. We have a couple of TV things to get to before we get there, and then I'll explain what we're doing. I just wanted to talk a little bit, jumping right into the big news of the week, and I don't want to get too political. Rhea, you follow my Twitter. You know I don't get too political ever on my Twitter.
I have never met a more political person in my entire life, and I have to say though, Ange, because you're not on Twitter.
Yeah,
Jay gets on my timeline. He destroys people, but he does it with humor, which they don't get.
No.
And so I enjoy it even more. So I am a huge follower of Jay Black on Twitter.
Well, I appreciate that, Rhea. I will try to keep my politics out of this story, but there were three huge firings. One that took up all of the oxygen in the room, and then two that were, you could say, equally as big, but didn't get as much press. Tucker Carlson was fired from Fox on Monday. Don Lemon was fired from CNN on Monday. And then we got a bunch of ESPN firings, just all over the place, a bloodbath going on in Disney. And I just wanted to get your opinions as to, I happen to think these three things are related, and it's more economics than anything else. Although there are words coming out that Rupert Murdoch was just not happy with Tucker Carlson. What is your take on this? Is this just another blip in the ever shrinking cable TV market, or is this a bigger political deal than we think?
See, believe it or not, because I'm retired, I do have actually more downtime, and I do watch some of this stuff now.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson's career, if he ever had any credibility, ended when when his personal text messages went out, in which he announced that he actually hates Donald Trump passionately, but he goes on Fox News every night to say how wonderful the man is.
Yeah,
you are a fraud when you are saying one thing and doing quite another. It's over. This guy was a fraud in 2006 when he suddenly decided he didn't need to wear bow ties anymore. His whole thing was bow ties.
Yes.
They didn't get rid of that. That guy is a disgrace. They should have fired him the day this stuff came out. They had to pay $800 million to Dominion, because they basically promoted a complete false narrative on the election. Tucker Carlson should never work another day because he has zero credibility. None.
100%. I like that because it's, regardless of where you stand politically on the guy, if he's saying one thing in private and saying another thing in public, and he's an opinion guy, his entire job is to give opinions. And if his opinions are false, then why are you listening to his opinions? It's like a guy trying to hit on a girl at a bar, and whatever the girl says, he goes, "Oh yeah, I love that. That's my favorite." "Oh, you're a big fan of fusion jazz? That's my favorite. I love fusion jazz." Like,
no one is a fan of fusion jazz. I'd like to establish that. See, I worked with someone for like 25 years who always told me, you can't ever really go on the air and sell your opinion or give your opinion honestly if you actually truly don't believe it. Right. And a lot of times I thought Angelo was totally nuts. I'm like, that's great. But he believed it. So when I don't watch any of those shows. I just don't watch political shows. I don't really watch local news. I watch sports, and I watch streaming and, British shows and HGTV, because we mentioned the timeline, your Twitter timeline. Yeah. What I found on my Twitter is that these people are responsible for the massive divide in our country. No matter which political side you're on, they have promoted lies based on whatever party they believe on. Right. And Don Lemon, frankly, has been doing stuff horribly for years. He clearly hates women. I mean, that's come out. So to me, it's just these people have been bad people for a long time because they're not actually, they're opinion people who only give the opinion that's been bought and paid for.
Right. And let me explain why I came up with that philosophy very early at the time I was at Radio Rhea. Because I did a movie called Bald. I don't know if you remember, right?
Yes, I
It was
remember.
actually, the director was super fan. He was a
Yes.
call. And I watched my performance and realized that I have absolutely no acting skill whatsoever. So if I were to go forward and say
Yeah.
something that I didn't believe, I'm positive I would not be able to sell it. So it's a lot easier to just take what you really feel and say it. What I love about this story, Jay, is that Carlson is far right and Lemon is far left. And both of them got exactly what they deserved.
Yep.
No political side on this. Don Lemon was an entitled, egomaniacal, misogynistic jackass. And he also, the people that work with him hated him.
You could tell that.
Fact. And it's amazing they kept him that long. He got what he deserved. Carlson got what he deserved. The ESPN people, that's a money thing. It's entirely a money thing. ESPN is nowhere near as relevant as it used to be. They can't pay all those people that much money.
So the ESPN, the Don Lemon thing, you could tell. I think it's Poppy Harlow, and I can't remember the name of the other person on that morning show with him.
Is that really a person's real name?
Yeah, I think it's Poppy Harlow, which
doesn't sound real.
It sounds like something you pay extra for at a British strip club. How much for the Poppy Harlow? Oh, that's 15 quid. Sure, bring it on.
You are getting sued for that. Don't sue me. I just asked if it was a real name.
But no, if you saw them Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday morning when they gave the goodbye to Don Lemon, it was two women who couldn't have been shrugging harder. Did you see it? It was like well,
this, they were cheering.
Yes, they had the wine. They were like, Don Lemon's gone. Well, but I think, Angelo, on the old radio show, we used to talk about this all the time, that the only thing, like Fox News, Tucker Carlson, for being the most popular person on news, did not make advertising revenue. He wasn't making a ton of money from the Cash for Gold people and the survivalist meals that advertised on his show. Fox makes all of its money through carriage fees. And they are coming up on some big renegotiations coming. They want a 30% premium over the carriage fees that they're currently making, which I think nationwide is about a $2 a subscriber average. So if you subscribe to cable, $2 is going to Fox, whether you watch it or not, just the way it works. So I think Rupert Murdoch's point of view on this is, do I really want to carry a $40 million a year liability into these negotiations? I mean, that's what ESPN is dealing with. CNN is run by David Zaslav. My opinions on him. But all of them are dealing with this new economic reality of the cash cow is, if not dead, certainly very sick. And, the money that they were making 20 years ago is never coming back, and they don't know how to replace it just yet. So
I think you're 100% right. Yep. It's always, 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 always about the money.
Yes. Always. Yes. That's one of the things when we used to talk about the NFL. What do you think the NFL is thinking here? Money. That's it. Whatever it is, it's money.
Money.
All right. So let's switch to the most money section of our show, British Corner with Rhea Hughes. Rhea, what do you have for us this week?
All right. So I have this. It's actually Australian, but, I'm going to put it under the umbrella because they're under the British Empire.
The Empire. Yeah.
Yes. It's called Harrow. It's on Hulu. It's 3 seasons, 10 episodes each. It's about a forensic pathologist who, very, whip smart, total disdain for authority. The usual kind of forensic pathologist goes along with cops on, to solve stuff. Here's what's interesting about it. And you'll love this part of it. He's a divorced father of 18, doesn't get along with his daughter, but he's beginning a romance with one of the cops. And I wouldn't call her a redhead. She's more like an auburn color. Very, very attractive. Her name is, I wrote it down, it's Mira Folks, and Americans might know her. She had a recurring role on the new Hawaii Five-0. Very, very attractive. I will say looks fantastic in a policeman's uniform. But what got me, I thought, this is just another It's a forensic pathologist. He's getting clues from the bones or the dead body. At the end of the first episode, they punch you in the face because they basically, I'm not really giving anything up because there's 30 more episodes to go. At the end, you find out that he's kind of involved in a crime that he has to cover up through his forensic pathology. I didn't see that coming at all at the end, and it's at the end of the first episode. So now every episode is somewhat a standalone episode in that he is still solving, a crime of a dead person, while he's also trying to hide his, and we don't know why he committed a crime. So that's kind of what I'm in. I'm in season 2 now. It's really, really good. I will say absolutely put the closed captioning on. The Australian accent's a little bit thicker, a little bit more difficult. But I will tell you, like, I was kind of like, and then when that happened at the end of the first episode, I go, okay, I'm in. I want to know what he did.
If you're somebody, I just need to say,
me at Australian television,
Yeah.
and needless to say, I will now take this opportunity to once again recommend Wentworth on Netflix. It is 8 seasons of Australian TV, and Rhea, honestly, Australian TV is pretty good, but you're right.
It's very good.
Subtitles. You do need the subtitles.
You do.
If you do not watch our show on YouTube, you only listen to our show, go watch the YouTube segment when Rhea mentions redhead, because Angelo perks up the same way a golden retriever when you say, do you want to eat? Just looking around. Wait, where is it? Where is it? What's going on? Let me go watch now.
I still got it, Jay. I still got it, baby.
Yeah. If there's a pretty redhead in it, I make sure to mention it. So, because I know Angelo might give it a watch.
I'm in for sure. I'm in.
And what channel is this on, Rhea?
It's on Hulu. 3 seasons, 10 episodes each.
Great. And Teen Corner for this week. Do we have anything?
So this is Jay, and you'll be able to relate to me. So I think it was Saturday. Clark says to me, he goes, "Hey, Mom, do you want to watch Murder Mystery 2 with me?" At the Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston movie. And I go, well, I haven't watched one. He goes, well, do you want to watch it with me? If your teenager asks you to watch something with you, you are required to say yes, or they will never, ever ask you again.
Yes.
So I said, okay, gotta watch. So he'd already watched Murder Mystery 1 with his dad. So I watched it. The first one, it's kind of standard fare. It's Jennifer Aniston, Adam Sandler. He's a cop who keeps failing the detective exam. She's a hairdresser. They go on a trip to Europe, and somehow, which happens to everyone, they wind up on a billionaire's yacht, and the billionaire's stabbed, and they get framed, and chaos ensued. It's not want to say charming. It's an hour and a half. It's not going to kill you. Murder Mystery 2, actually, I have to say, was very funny.
Okay.
So now Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler have become private detectives, because that's what you do once you've solved one murder mystery. So, and it involves a high-profile kidnapping. It's a lot more slapstick in this one, and the scenery is beautiful. They're in Europe, so you're getting all these, France, Monaco, just some of the most beautiful places. Where Clark and I laughed so hard at one scene, Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler are in a van with the kidnappers. She kills him with a hatchet, but she kills the guy who's driving. So while Adam Sandler's in the back of the van fighting the bad guys, she has to drive the van, steer it, with the dead guy's head on the steering wheel. And she's coming up on a group of people, and she doesn't know how to let them know she's coming. She grabs his head and starts slamming it into the horn.
That's funny.
Clark and I laughed so hard we had to pause the movie. So what I will say is, it's not going to win any major awards, but if you have a teen, there's some, sexual innuendo, but nothing. I don't even think there's any nudity in it. We laughed. That's all I have to say. It was an amusing hour, and both of them are right around 90 minutes, and it's it's on. I believe it's on Netflix.
Netflix, yep. That's his deal.
Netflix. Yeah. Listen, Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler are so likable.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch something because they're both very good actors. They're good comedic actors. It was amusing. I'm not saying that, plan your whole Saturday night around it, but it was fun.
Adam Sandler has moved into, I was trying to think of what phase of his career is he in? And I think he's in the Jim Davis phase of his career, the guy who does Garfield, because Garfield is still being made. There's still Garfield. It just comes out. You haven't thought about Garfield in a long time, but it's still there. People still love it. And I think that that's the Netflix Adam Sandler, is that he's put out 7 or 8 movies for
Well, he did
Netflix.
Hustle, and Angelo will tell you,
Oh, it's
I
great.
hated Hustle for like the first half hour, and
Really
Angelo
good.
forced me
Yeah.
to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
And Angelo was right. It was a really good movie. And Adam Sandler was terrific in it.
Yeah.
Real fast, in Teen Corner, I just want to put in, I don't know if you guys watched this show when it was on the air. Did you see The Middle when it was out? It's the janitor from Scrubs and the wife from Everybody Loves Raymond. And it's just they're three people, or they have three kids. They live in the Midwest. My daughter, my 12-year-old, has been binging it, and I've been binging it with her. And it's just delightful. It's just like the highest end ABC sitcom, mid 2000s kind of like it started in 2008 during the financial crisis, and there's a lot of that early on. But if you get a chance, that's also excellent. I've seen 915 episodes in the last week. So
Where is it? Where do you get it?
it's on ABC. You can get it on it was on ABC. You can stream it on HBO Max, believe it or not. It's,
All right.
or
Max,
excuse me,
it's Max.
Max. I'm
It's
so
not
sorry.
HBO Max.
No
I
more
just-
that's last week. HBO left.
I
It's
just
over.
got a cease and desist from David Zasloff. We have to cancel the podcast. He's paying attention. Angela, what do you got for us this week before we do our draft?
How long we've been doing this podcast? About half a year.
Yeah, well, this is our 33rd episode.
Wow.
My favorite review of all time just happened from Rhea when she said, "It's an hour and a half. It won't kill you." Because I watched something that was an hour and 3/4, and it will kill you.
Oh, no.
Thanks. And it's on Apple Plus, and I hope one of you two morons pick it in your 5 picks. It's called Ghosted. It stars Chris Pine and Ana de Armas, and it's supposed to be great. It's their #1 movie because the names are big and it's a high budget thing. First 20 minutes, romantic comedy, meet cute, whole deal. And then it becomes a stupid action comedy. Rhea, they're on a cliff on a mountain.
Oh,
They're on
God.
a bus, and they're going backwards. It's so damn stupid.
I saw a preview for it,
Oh,
Ange, and the preview was so bad, it didn't entice me to watch it.
Right. I watch it for Ana de Armas. I think she's awesome.
She's terrific.
And it is awful. Do not watch Ghosted. If either of my two colleagues here pick it in the Apple Plus draft, they are making a huge mistake. It should be ripped accordingly.
You should know,
Let's
Angelo.
do the draft. Come on, Jay.
Let's get into it. But before we do, you got to know, I got an email from someone that said they love listening to the show because they love when you say something stinks. They love the way you say it. And you just said
stinks.
Get that drop, somebody. All right. So let's explain how this is going to work. We're going to try to make this a recurring segment so that we can sort of plumb the depth of a streamer. And the first one we chose was Apple TV Plus because it doesn't have a huge amount of original shows. We're going to stay with original shows and movies, and we're going to do a snake draft. So I have a random number generator. Angelo, do you want to be 1, 2, or 3?
I don't care. Let Rhea go first.
All right, we'll just let Rhea go first. And then I'll go second and then Angelo, you go third. Because you did the most work on this. So
yes, I did. I have the most time.
All right, so it's a snake draft. Rhea gets the first draft pick. I'll get the second one. Angelo gets 3, 4. I get 5. Rhea gets 6, 7, and so on. And we're going to get up to 5 shows each. We're going to do 15 of these total. And then we're going to put out online our 5 shows. And you guys are going to vote on who has the best set. Now, this would be like you have a week and you can only watch these 5 shows or movies. Who has the best lineup? All right.
Do it.
Let's get going. I have my draft board up and ready to go. Let's begin.
I have mine as well. And I just want to announce that with Apple, I realized that I don't watch a lot of shows on Apple. So I am kind of like the Eagles who don't pick linebackers. I have very, very little to choose from. So I'm not going to let anybody steal. I'm the British person. I'm the British corner. So I'm going to take a shocking one at the top. It's not what you think, Angelo. I'm going with Slow Horses, which is quite possibly one of the best shows I have ever seen on TV.
It was on my board. It was on my board. I thought I would get that like second round. I didn't think anybody would take that off the list that early.
Okay. What do you
So,
got, Jay?
all right, I'm going with, I think, the number one on the board. I mean, you got to go number one overall. Ted Lasso, the show that everybody loves.
I knew it.
Angelo hates it.
I knew it. I knew it. This is too easy. I love it. All right,
Everybody loves it. This is
tomorrow night is the NFL draft on ABC at ESPN, and we're kind of tying it in with that.
Yeah,
all right. My number, all my first pick is the best picture 2022, Coda.
Oh, it's on my list.
Yeah, it's on your list. I'm right. It's on your list. That's my first pick. And my second pick, I'm staying with the movie they made, which is out right now and is great, really great. Tetris. Taron Egerton.
I saw it.
Is great.
I saw it on your recommendation. It's fantastic. And he's great in it. It's a great movie. My wife is a Coda, so I'm going to get in trouble for this because I did not pick it. But I've never seen someone cry harder at a movie than my wife at the end of that movie. Fantastic flick. And
now I will never watch it. I never watch movies where I know I'm going to cry at the end.
But it's good cry. It's a good cry, right?
It's a great movie. It's the best picture of 2022. It got an Oscar. Hello.
All right. Let me see. All right. I'm going to go with a little bit of a curveball here. It's one that I think is as good, not as good. It's not as good as It's Always Sunny, but it's in the conversation. It's by the same guy, Rob McElhenney, who did It's Always Sunny. I'm going with Mythic Quest for my number two. Have you seen it, Angelo?
No, but that's the one I couldn't get to because I love Rob McElhenney, but I think that's probably a pretty good pick. Maybe a too high. That was a 3 or a 4, not a 2.
You know what? I took Rhea's inspiration of taking off a favorite early. But I'm building a team. If you're just going to sit and watch, you're going to love my team. That's why I'm building. All right, Rhea.
Deep steak so far. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to go with The Morning Show.
Yeah.
What I loved about The Morning Show is, kind of started with the whole Matt Lauer thing, really tied in with it. But listen, the acting of Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon in this is phenomenal. And Billy Crudup, he's unbelievably awesome.
Great.
I think it gives you a real peek behind the mirror, behind the curtains of what morning shows, what TV shows, which we talked about at the top of this, are really like.
Right.
And I think it's phenomenal. I think it's really well acted.
And I think Reese Witherspoon produces it, right? This is under her banner.
Right, yeah.
She's like on the cusp of being a billionaire, I believe, Reese Witherspoon.
Well, I think she sold it, but she's still like produced something like that. But yeah, she's unbelievable. And she started with things with doing a lot. She didn't like the scripts. It was very simple. I hate the scripts I'm getting. I want to produce my own.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
Who's next?
That's Rhea gets the next pick as well.
I do.
Yep.
Oh, I'm going to tick off both of you. Shrinking.
It's on my.
No.
Listen, look at the people. I mean, I love the theory of it because I don't know about you. I've been to therapy, Angelo. I'm absolutely positive you've been in therapy. Jay, if you're not, you need to be in therapy.
No, I've been in. This is my therapy. This counts.
Yes. Well, what I'm saying is for therapists to actually go, I'm going to be really honest because I think they're all BSing half the time.
Yeah.
And, that they don't really want to tell you there's no sense for you to go through couples therapy. You're going to get divorced. They should announce that in your first one and save you all the money.
Yeah.
Wow. Good one.
Harrison Ford is that show to me. I love it. Every single thing he does in that show is great.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go. I've been doing comedy so far. I'm going to go with a show that the second season's got to be coming soon. Severance. Directed, created by what's his name? I can't think of it now. The guy from There's Something About Mary. Why can't I think of his name? Oh God. His dad was on Jerry Seinfeld. We're TV show.
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller. Okay, I couldn't remember his name. I don't know why. Created and show run by Ben Stiller, starring Adam Scott. Just one of the best kind of freaky shows, and honestly one of those shows that can only exist in the world of streaming and can only exist when a company like Apple TV gives them almost infinite amounts of money and leaves them alone. I don't know if the world has a spot for shows like this 5 years from now, so I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts. Great show. Severance, my number 3 pick. Angelo, you got 2.
I did watch Severance, and I wanted to hurt myself. All right, I get 2 picks here. So I'm going to stay with movies because I also love this movie, Improbable Crazy, but based on a real story on Apple Plus, The Greatest Beer Run Ever. Love that movie. I've got 3 movies now, all fantastic. And I have a secret here that's great. And it's my next pick, but I'm going to save it for my last pick because you people are dopey. So I will take with my 4th pick, Bad Sisters, which
I hated it.
You didn't like that. Sharon Horgan. Great story about 4 sisters who are quirky and weird and fight a lot. I think it's funny. It's English. English.
I didn't care for it at all.
It was one of our first reviews. If you want to hear us talking about that show, go back to like episode 2, I think it was.
Yep. I got it, and it's my 4th pick.
My 4th pick is it's a show, but it's a mini series. It stars my brain's not working today. It's called We Crashed.
Oh yeah.
It is the show about the tech sector. It's got help me out here. Why isn't my brain working?
Is it Anne Hathaway in that?
Anne Hathaway and
Jared Leto, right?
And Jared Leto. I kept wanting to call him the Joker. Guys, I think I might
taking that away from you since you couldn't remember anything in it, so it can't be that great.
Yeah,
guys,
you're right.
Here's all I'm going to say.
Documentaries on that story that are better than that show.
There's an 80% chance that there is a carbon monoxide leak in my house right now. That's why I can't remember anything. But We Crashed. It's one of the few Jared Leto performances where his insanity actually helps the character, and it's a great story. I did like the Uber story, Super Pumped, a little bit better. I believe that was on HBO Max. Excuse me, Max. But since we're doing Apple TV, we're going with We Crashed, and that is my number 4 pick. Rhea, your final 2 picks.
Okay, so this reminds me of somebody that I worked with for a really long time. He couldn't go anywhere. It didn't matter if it was a beautiful, secluded island, with all of the amenities except for TV. He would lose his mind. We would go to Clearwater where it's really beautiful. And Al and I would hide around the corner and watch him as he checked in. And when they told him he didn't have a king-size bed, he would completely lose his mind. It's called The Reluctant Traveler with Eugene Levy. I love him, first of all. And it's about sending him to all these amazing places. But he bitches the entire time that he has to go to these events. And every time I watch it, I'm like, this is Angelo.
How did I miss that one?
I don't know how it's really cool.
I'm going for it right now.
He literally whines about everything.
I love that. Sounds like a fun guy.
Can I ask a heterosexual woman's opinion on this? Does he look better?
Are you sure?
In his 70s than he did in his 20s? Eugene Levy looks great, doesn't he? I for like a silver fox type looking fella at this point, right?
Well, remember, we were kind of first introduced to him through American Pie as the dad of, which I loved him in American Pie, and he was so geeky and so nerdy that you put him in some nice clothes. It's like Steve Carell. Steve Carell has gotten better looking as he's gotten older. Yeah. So it does happen to some people, present company notwithstanding.
Rhea's an angry drunk, it turns out. I can't believe this.
Have another drink, Rhea.
What's your number 5, your last pick?
I don't have one. This was my point about the beginning of this, that I don't watch. I realized that when I sat down last night to do my homework, I went, I don't watch shows on Apple TV. So I don't think that they were like Slow Horses, Ted Lasso, Morning Show, Shrinking. Love them. But I don't like, I kind of really only go there to watch the shows that I do know that I like, that I still have episodes left. None of their shows have grabbed me after those shows.
All right, so I'll just put
Jay. What do you got?
NP, no pick. I'm down to, I've got two that I want to pick, but I'm going to tell you the one I'm not going to pick is Dickinson. That was on my list. It was one of their early run of shows. So I'm going to go with the movie here. I'm going to go with their Christmas movie, Spirited, with Will Ferrell and
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. Thank you, Rhea. Somebody turn off that leak.
Jay.
I don't know what's happening to me today, but yeah, that was a not like, I don't know if it'll be an all-time Christmas classic, but I know my wife and I and my family watched that movie like 2 or 3 times. It was just a nice way to spend some time with some big stars and an interesting take on the Scrooge story. So I'll go with Spirited for my number 5. Angelo, what is your final pick?
I saved it because I knew you knuckleheads would not get it. I will say this. There are 2 other worthwhile shows on Apple Plus that were not picked. Physical is a good show.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Also, there's one other one here. Hold on. I got to look at my list for a second. Mosquito Coast is not bad. Justin Theroux.
That was one of your picks on the show. Yeah.
My discovery, and it's only because we were doing this draft today, is a 4-part documentary. It is phenomenal. It is called The Big Con. CONN.
I was just about, I'm watching that today.
You are.
Oh, wow.
Rhea, yes. You will love it. This guy, you want a shady lawyer? Yeah. Here's just a couple of examples. The man was married. He's in his 50s.
Okay.
16 times.
No.
He did commercials for his law firm with a porn star.
Oh my God.
He had a pet boa constrictor, and he got involved in the scam of all scares with the Social Security Administration. The guy is bigger than life, and they did a great job.
It looks phenomenal. I was watching, I watched like 10 minutes of it last night. I said, I got to watch this today.
The Big Con. Don't miss it. It's my big thing to refer to this week. That's my highest recommendation. I knew you guys wouldn't pick it, and that's why I have just won the draft. I declare myself the winner.
All right, I'm going to put out on Twitter tomorrow and also on YouTube our list. But to go through it real fast, for Rhea Hughes, we have Slow Horses, The Morning Show, Shrinking, The Reluctant Traveler, and No Pick. So those 4. Jay has Ted Lasso, Mythic Quest, Severance, We Crashed, Spirited. And you know what? I know it's mine, but I'm looking at it going, this is the one I'd want to watch. This because it's mine. Angelo has Coda, Tetris, The Greatest Beer Run Ever, Bad Sisters, and The Big Con. Your job tomorrow as a listener, well, I keep saying tomorrow, you're going to hear it this morning, Thursday. Go to my Twitter page, go to the YouTube page, go to jblack.tv. The poll will be up. I'll collect all the votes and reveal next week who had the best draft. And if you guys like this, we can do it again for each of the streamers. And I thought it was a lot of fun. I had a good time.
I'm very heavy on all the other streamers. I just realized I don't watch a lot of Apple TV.
All right, here's what else we're recommended this week. Rhea's got Harrow on Hulu, right? And that is Australian. While you're at it, you might want to check Wentworth on Netflix. It's great. Also, Murder Mystery 2 on Netflix, and The Middle is available on Max via
HBO Max. Don't get David Zasloff, man. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Hold on, Jay. Clark always wants to know every week because now I tell him. I told him last week we were number 2 in the Netherlands. Do you have anything where we I'm like we're 2 in Italy, we're 2 in Iceland?
Let me take a look real fast here. I'll see if there was any update. We are in India still. We're number 14 in India.
Okay.
We are number 17 in Norway. And that is it for right now. I don't know if we're still up in Italy. You got to pay extra to get your full global rankings, and I just I put out the money yet. I'm too cheap.
I just like going around saying we're number 2 in Iceland, so it just makes me happy.
Yeah, we're a very big deal in Norway. So guys, thank you so much. If you've enjoyed us, if you live in Norway especially, but if you live anywhere in the world, please rate and review us. Tell a friend about the show. We are growing bigger every week, and it's all thanks to you. If you leave us a comment, we'll do our best to review the show that you ask for. Guys, Rhea Hughes, Angelo Cataldi, thanks for joining. We'll see you next week.
Guys.